whatever. We'll just read and discuss. You're natural.
Yes, Mataji, it's fine.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. A warm welcome to whoever is hearing now and whoever will be hearing later for Srimad Bhagavatam discussion at ISKCON Nepal. We'll begin with the prayers, invoking auspiciousness and blessings of the Acharyas for us to connect to this most amazing literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our refuge, so that it can touch our hearts and can help us progress on this path. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunadanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Kadanchana Smrute Yasmin Dushkaram Sukharam Bhavet Smrute Viparitam Va Shri Chaitanyam Namamitam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances and a warm welcome again. Kindly forgive me for two reasons. If you're disappointed, expecting Gopal Hari Prabhu would be speaking today. Unfortunately, we missed the chance to hear from Prabhu. The second thing, if you're hearing the noise, we're on the car on the way to Gita Nagari. Kindly excuse that. We'll be reading and discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 16, Text 10. This is a beautiful chapter where Lord Vishnu, he comes out of Vaikuntha to the doors where Jaya Vijaya stopped the four Kumaras. And after the Kumaras cursed Jaya Vijaya, Lord comes out and he is speaking to the four Kumaras. I'm saying it's so beautiful because it's actually giving a glimpse into the heart of the Lord. And we hear it's not easy for anybody to understand the Lord's heart of his reasons unless he actually reveals himself, or one who is very close to him, who knows his heart, reveals to us. And here we are getting to hear him directly from his own words. So it's really beautiful. And the other reason also it's beautiful is the way he's glorifying his devotees and the brahmanas, the kind of, it's not just a respectful position, but how dear they are. It's just showing how Lord treats his devotees. So that's another, his most enchanting and dearmost quality for all the devotees is Lord's Bhakta Vatsala nature. So we can get some glimpses from this section into that beautiful quality. So with that, we'll begin today's verse. This is Srimad Bhagavatam 3:16, text 10. Eme tanudvijavarandhuhatirmadhiya bhutanya labdha sharanani cha bheda buddhya drakshantya ghakshata drisho yabhimanyavastan gridhrarusha mama kushantyadhidandanetu. We'll read one more time. Eme tanudvijavarandhuhatirmadhiya bhutanya labdha sharanani cha bheda buddhya drakshantya ghakshata drisho yahimanyavastan gridhrarusha mama kushantyadhidandanetu. What word? Ye, which persons? Me, my, Tanu, body, Vijavaran, the best of the Brahmanas, Duhati, cows, Madhiya, relating to me, Bhutani, living entities, Alabdha Sharanani, defenseless, Cha, and Bheda Buddhya, considering as different, Drakshanti, see, Agha, by sin, Kshata, is impaired, Drisha, whose faculty of judgment, he, because, Ahi, like a snake, Manyavaha, angry, Tan, those same persons, Gridhra, the vulture-like messengers, Rusha, angrily, Mama, my, Kushanti, tear, Adhidandanetuhu, of the superintendent of punishment, Yamaraja. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Brahmanas, the cows, and the defenseless creatures are my own body. Those whose faculty of judgment has been impaired by their own sin look upon these as distinct from me. They are just like furious serpents, and they are angrily torn apart by the bills of the vulture-like messengers of Yamaraja, the superintendent of sinful persons. Purport: the defenseless creatures, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, are the cows, brahmanas, women, children, and old men. Of these five, the brahmanas and cows are especially mentioned in this verse because the Lord is always anxious about the benefit of the brahmanas and the cows and is prayed to in this way. Therefore, the Lord especially instructs that no one should be envious of these five, especially the cows and the brahmanas. In some of the Bhagavatam readings, the word duhitri is used instead of duhati. But in either case, the meaning is the same. Duhati means cow, and duhitra can also be used to mean cow because the cow is supposed to be the daughter of the sun god. Just as children are taken care of by the parents, women as a class should be taken care of by the father, husband, or grown-up son. Those who are helpless must be taken care of by their respective guardians. Otherwise, the guardians will be subjected to the punishment of Yamaraja, who is appointed by the Lord to supervise the activities of the sinful living creatures. The assistants or messengers of Yamaraja are likened here to vultures, and those who do not execute their respective duties in protecting their wards are compared to serpents. Vultures deal very seriously with serpents, and similarly, the messengers will deal very seriously with neglectful guardians. Om Agnanatimirandasya Agnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Hare Krishna. So in this verse, Lord Vishnu, he's continuing speaking about the Brahmanas. How dear are they to him? And the reason why is he saying that is to pacify the four Kumaras, because they're elevated Brahmanas, and Jaya Vijaya stopped them and thus made them angry, and that's actually considered an offense by the Lord himself. And in the previous verses, he actually says, please consider that this offense was by me only. He is taking that responsibility of his servants. So I'm actually connecting that point to this verse, what Krishna is saying here, because he's saying the Brahmanas cow. Krishna is considering the Brahmanas, the cows, and brings this five different types of people or the entities, living entities that need to be given protection all the time. Cows, Brahmanas, women, children, and old men. The reason they're not fully dependent and they're not capable of protecting on themselves, their own selves. So that's the reason for those who are in charge of them, it's their responsibility to offer that protection. And Krishna, Lord Vishnu is saying here, see them as my own body. It's like, I was thinking, it's easier. I mean, may not be that easy, but at least it's easier for us to see the deity form of the Lord as the Lord himself and give utmost respect, at least for those of us who are following Prabhupada and in this mission, we at least know the importance of the deity form. Outside people, they may not even bother so much, even about the deity form. But the same kind of regard or respect or wanting to care for them may not be there for other these five entities or cows and the Brahmanas that Lord is saying in this verse. And very interestingly, the Lord says, those whose faculty of judgment has been impaired by their own sin look upon these as distinct from me. That's like a powerful statement, because I'm thinking for myself, I don't really see these people like kids or, as parents, we do shout at the kids or whatever. And obviously, if we see that as a Krishna's own body or the way we need to treat the deity, I mean, like, can't imagine that. So it's in one sense, yes, it is true. Our senses are impaired by the material contamination, but here Krishna is speaking like really heavy kind of a thing. Their judgment is impaired by the sin because of that conditioning or covering. We are not able to see that it's Krishna's parts and parcels. And in one sense, any living entity, as we hear, the super soul is residing. So in that sense, it is representing Krishna's body in some form. And it's not like, superficially we be scared, oh, it's Krishna's body, I shouldn't be doing this or that. Obviously, when we are taking care for the kids, we may have responsibilities to care for them, to discipline them, or to safeguard them when they're in danger. So we may do different things, but it's really the mood with which we care for these living entities that matters. And the other point I was thinking from the purport as Prabhupada is writing, just as children are taken care of by the parents, women as a class, those who are helpless must be taken care of by their respective guardians. Otherwise, the guardians will be subjected to the punishment of Yamaraja, who is appointed by the Lord to supervise the activities of sinful living creatures. So it's the responsibility of the guardians not only the physical protection, I'm thinking even the spiritual protection. When we are in the capacity to care for others, like parents or, in some kind of leadership positions, where we are taking the responsibility to guide others or care for others, it's a responsibility to protect them and guard them and help them to grow in their spiritual efforts as well as their material or emotional journeys. It's very important. If we have that opportunity, but still we are not doing that, Krishna is again saying here, they are like these serpents who don't treat their children very nicely, and then vultures come and then they just eat. So similarly, if we are not taking care of the people whom we are supposed to, we will also be punished by the agents of Yamaraj. In the same way, the vulture-like vultures, how they treat the serpents. So each of us, in our own capacity, I'm thinking, we can actually take care of that, how to really extend that protection and care and love and support for those who are in our care. And the other thing which is very beautiful here is the Lord, he's so expert in speaking that he's actually speaking to them in such a way that it totally, melts their hearts. All the verses, how he says how dear to them the devotees and brahmanas are. And that can actually touch their hearts, even though they were like angered and agitated with Jaya Vijaya's action. But their desire is to really see the Lord and see the Lord's lotus feet, have the darshan. And now they not only had the darshan, but they were able to hear these beautiful, eloquent messages from the Lord. So their hearts are like totally melted. So this is another thing that we can understand from the Lord. When we somehow commit an offense, first thing is recognizing and acknowledging that we have done a mistake and we have hurt someone, especially if it is coming to the devotees, how we need to treat the devotees, acknowledging, and then humbly going to them and approaching and then seeking their forgiveness. I mean, this is such an exemplified example for us to follow. It's not that even Lord himself did something here. It's even when someone else who are under him. That's also another instructive thing for us. I'm thinking, especially if you're in some leadership positions, we may have different devotees doing things and they may, do things here and there and little mess ups can happen. And it's very easy for us, most of us, to just say, oh, it's that person did this person did this, that is why this got messed up. But really owning and taking that responsibility for that service and owning them, it does two things. First thing is, it shows these devotees who are serving that actually I'm not being blamed here. They actually care for me. They are taking the responsibility and ownership of whatever mistake has happened and how to correct that. So that can really motivate people. Devotees are even outside in the corporate culture. If the manager behaves like that, any employee, they will be so touched and they want to go out of their way to correct the situation, or even in future to really, do their best. From the heart, not just because it's their duty or I have committed to some service, I just have to somehow complete it. So that is really something, we need to cultivate both in ourselves, and how that can, inspire others also to take that responsibility more than the quote unquote job responsibility. So that is the first thing Lord is doing. Giving that assurance to his subjects that he is with them, not he's like passing over, but he is right with them. going through this, whatever they're trying to go through. And then the second thing, it actually touches the other person's heart also. When Lord is taking onus on this servant's mistakes and going and speaking, you are so dear to me, Brahmanas are so dear to me. I'm extremely sorry that you had to go through this and my servants had done this. I consider it as my personal offense and please forgive me. And, as we are hearing, I mean, even for us, like it's, how look at this person, even if it is really a mistake and really I had to go through so much, our heart would be so touched by this person's such humility and that mood of submission and really wanting to make this relationship healthy again. So in both ways, just that person who is in the leadership position following the example of the Lord, it can benefit both whoever is under him and whoever he's interacting with. So I'm just feeling so happy with this example and just having to go through this and understand these practical points for us. I'll read the translation once more. The Brahmanas, the cows, and the defenseless creatures are my own body. Those whose faculty of judgment has been impaired by their own sin look upon these as distinct from me. They are just like furious serpents, and they are angrily torn apart by the bills of the vulture like messengers of Yamaraj, the superintendent of sinful persons. So nice discussion between the Lord and the four Kumaras. A lot of instructive and practical lessons for us from here. And whoever, we have few of them. If you could kindly share your reflections or any corrections from what I spoke. Thank you so much for joining.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please accept the obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for the nice explanation of this verse. This quality of Krishna, this Bhaktavatsalya quality, and how he's exhibiting it in this pastime is, it's really nice to meditate on. And then you mentioned this thing about how we see in the corporate world, if this is implemented or if it's expressed, then the results can be quite different. And I can, totally relate to it as we were going through some changes at our work currently. And the changes they were trying to bring about, it was very in a forceful way. And not in a very cooperative way with the employees. So we can really see, all of this in our day-to-day lives, that how when there is center there, how things can be different. So I just wanted to share and appreciate that point that you mentioned. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for bringing that. Yeah, it's just so true. I think it's the human nature. When we are being cared for, naturally we want to reciprocate and give so much more. So unfortunately, in the name of I need to get things done, or this is fair or unfair, we just lose that connection with a human. That other person is a human, and let me really connect to them. And then, magic happens. I was just, meditating upon His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, how much he was able to, accomplish and achieve unimaginable, similar to Prabhupada. Why? Because of this quality, really giving them out, totally, completely sold out to the people who are willing to support them, and that in turn reciprocated and like many, multifold. Yeah, this is just so beautiful. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Firstly, thank you for reading this verse and discussing it while you're on your way to Gita Nagari. I can just feel the vibes of going towards Gita Nagari. And I completely agree with Govinda Mohini Mataji's comments as well. I think organizations, there's so much to learn. And if these scriptures like the Srimad Bhagavatam, could be somehow globalized, I mean, in some globules, be fed to these corporates. And of course, ISKCON is doing a lot of that as well in various organizations. I mean, all our leaders, Maharajas, are doing that in large corporates, and also in the temple environment, definitely, where everybody is a volunteer. This leadership and accountability is so important. And how Prabhupada always, I mean, of course, coming from Krishna, that everybody is a part and parcel of Krishna, especially, emphasizing the fact that the ones that are weaker need to be taken care of even more, and not the reverse, which is, show your strength or show your power over them. So, which happens, so abundantly in the material world. So, thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji, for bringing out that. Yeah, it's so true. And I was thinking for our temple particularly, as we are this, young and kind of getting mature, most of us are not yet mature. It's so much important for us to keep this in the forefront, at least those of us, who are trying to manage a service. That's what can really touch them, because at least a job, we need that, paycheck. So we may say like whatever, and we'll just continue. But it's not the same here as you're mentioning. It's a voluntary. So unless people are really being touched, and unless they're getting this much more than money can give, that inner satisfaction and inner connection, it's not possible for, devotees to continue. So that's so crucial and so important what you're saying, this connection, and recognizing them as these individuals who have the desire wherever they are. Some may be walking slow, some may be walking fast on this path, but irrespective of that, they're coming to the temple regularly, and they're trying to offer, they're trying to hear whatever, little bit like a squirrel, if not Hanuman, right? So I think if each of us can cultivate this mode, it can really, go to different level of relationships and connections. And services will be like, poof, just like that can happen. Krishna anyway can do magically. When people really have that inner satisfaction, and I want to contribute, I want to do that, then like any service can be like, like so easy. Yeah. Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yes, Mataji. Like you said, Krishna's service will happen no matter what. He'll make it happen, rather, and he will make it happen. But it is up to us to bring in, and get more people involved and appreciate them, and for our growth and purification as well. So yeah, I need to remember that more than anything.
Each of us. Because it's not just, we want to get purified and keep going or something. We really want to experience the joy of service. Unless we have, I think devotees play a vital role in that. Sometimes, I get a little bit scared. oh, if I'm with the devotees, I'll offend, so better I do some services where I'm not around the devotees or something. Sometimes it feels
Yeah.
like that. But it's
Mhm.
actually, we need the devotees. That's where we can, experience this joy and love. So if you're not able to experience here, how are we to experience that in the spiritual world with Krishna and his associates? So this
Yeah.
is a wonderful opportunity for us to actually experience the joy while serving, even though bodily, burden or whatever. Then I think, yeah, we can really experience the joy here itself. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Okay, it's 8:02 for those of you who have to work. Yeah, we are on the way to Gita Nagari. Yes, it's absolutely amazing. Looking forward. Thank you so much for everyone who joined and participated. Um, you all have a very wonderful Krishna conscious day and the long weekend. If you're going to Gita Nagari or Sadhu Sangha, wherever you're going to be, may we feel Krishna's and devotees' mercy abundantly, and remember this beautiful mood of wanting to serve and extend and care for and receive the care happily, joyfully, without any reservations. Thank you so much. Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा।